The start of the Formula Continental race at the 2003 SCCA Runoffs was wild as cars fanned out for position. But heading into the S's, it was the 1999 and 2001 champion Mike Anderson out front. Several drivers had problems throughout the early stages of the race. On lap 8, a spin by Dave Stevens brought out a full course caution, setting up a potential battle between Anderson and Dave Weitzenoff, the 1992 and 98 champion. When the field retook the green, Anderson stayed out in front of Weitzenoff, and the bronze went to the number 35 of Charles Schaefer. For Anderson, it was his third national title in 5 years. Who will be on top of the podium this year? Formula Continental is up next on Speed. To say that Dave Weitzenoff is the man in Formula car racing, well, that might be an understatement. He's a 7-time champion, including 2 wins in Formula Continental. He's been bragging about this 10-year-old Citation chassis and looking to take it to victory lane again this year. On the other hand, a much newer 2000 Van Diemen chassis, under the careful guidance of Chaz Schaefer, has already got 3 wins, and he's beat Dave this season as well. And then finally, on the other side here, Doug Kniffen, racing out of New York, a couple of wins this season as well, making strides against breast cancer, carrying that on his car, as well as a desire to pick up a national championship here at Mid-Ohio. Now, for more on the same story, let's go to Mike Johnson.
Formula Continental has always been one of my favorite classes. This is where young guns get their start. Guys like Buddy Rice, Sam Hornish Jr., and Mimo Gidley all started in this class, have now moved on to better things.
It's time we visit this beautiful and historic and challenging racetrack to bring you Formula Continental Championship Racing. Gold, silver, and bronze medals will be handed out here under what has been virtually perfect conditions for racing throughout the entire week. And as we get ready to go to the competition, let's take a look at the layout here at Mid-Ohio.
I think the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course was designed for Formula Continental because this track is so much fun to drive in these cars. 13 turns, 2¼ miles. Top speed for these cars will be 132 miles an hour going down here into turn 4. But to be fast at this place, you have to set your car for 2 key corners. Turn 2, the keyhole, which leads you onto the long back straight, and then turn 12, the carousel, which will get you flat through 1 down into the main passing zone here, also in the keyhole.
That's the layout of the racetrack. We'll also give you a few clues about just exactly how these Formula Continental cars are put together.
Well, these are the second quickest of the Formula cars here racing in the runoffs. They're all tube-frame cars, 4-speed manual transmissions running with 2-liter Pinto motors.
And most of them are Van Diemen chassis, Citation chassis. There are a few others, but nevertheless, those are the basic set to go. 25 cars will take to the track. We'll point out and introduce most of them to you, and then we'll turn them loose. Welcome back to Mid-Ohio and the SCCA National Championship Runoffs on Speed. As the cars take to the racetrack, they all have butterflies flying, I'm sure, because this is a year-long preparation to come to an event that is a one-time championship. It's winner take all. 20 laps, you wear a gold medal for the remainder of the season until somebody else comes back and wins it from you the following year. So it's so important to most of these drivers and to the teams that prepare their cars. So as they roll out onto the racetrack, we'll take a look at each and every one of the names of the men who will be competing here today. And it is going to be a star-studded field
to compete in. Just qualifying for this race is really a reward for itself. Well, these cars are actually so stiff that your first couple laps, especially on the pace lap, the cars are so stiff they're just bouncing off the bumps, and sometimes get your hands in your butt will kind of go numb until you get to the speed where we're actually working the shocks and working the downforce where you're in the proper speeds of the car.
He's wiggling his fingers around a little bit there, trying to get them ready to go. And they're all waiting for the wave of the green, and there it is. No wave off. We're going racing in Formula Continental here at the SCCA National Championship Runoffs. The big courage down into turn number 4, heavy and hard on the brakes. It looks like our pole sitter is going to take and keep the lead.
Yeah, that was a great start by Tomasi. Got a nice jump there. This is always the toughest part for these cars because they're the open wheels. You can actually get your wheels inside of the car next to you. And when you do that, sometimes these cars end up upside down or can run into each other. Makes it really tight. You can sometimes go 4 wide when there's really room for 3 if you're inside each other. So great start for this. I'm glad to see a nice green flag start.
Well, it's one thing to rub a fender on the other guy, but counter-rotating tires are never a good thing when they touch. As the field streams under our camera here and heads around the track for the finish of the first lap at speed, understand that the first lap, which was really kind of under caution, so to speak, also counted for the 20-lap distance. We'll keep you posted on how that proceeds as they come by to finish the first lap at racing velocity.
Here they are. Cars are going into turn one right here. You can see this is the last race of the day today. So there's all types of marbles building up on the outside of the track into that very fast corner. That's the fastest corner on the track. They enter turn one at over 110 miles an hour, go through it at over 105 miles an hour, and pretty much full throttle the whole way through. Maybe just a hair of a lift, more of a confidence lift as they go into the turn, but their foot's right back on it, because you know if you give up any bit in turn one, the guy behind you will put the move on you going into the key.
Pretty much single file right now. Here's some side-by-side action and a brief touch of tires there as two cars going pretty close together. I believe that was Michael Lentini in the number 9 car. We'll have to get a quick check. And actually Silver in the 26. There we go.
Yeah, just made the pass on 4, who's the two-time Atlantic champion we talked about at the beginning of the show. Here. We got another battle coming down into the... Oh, he's got a bent wing on the front of that car. It looked like the car going down in the corner. Here's that battle for 6th.
6th position for in the 84 car. Silver in the number 26. Rick Silver out of Maryland. And
right here through this part of the track, what they call madness, flat out. You just keep your foot to the wood. You're in first gear in turn 6. You just pull second gear as you go through it, and you just keep your foot all the way down. That last corner right there going to madness, you get a little loose going over the top. It's a really fun corner, and you have to actually straighten the wheel as you go over the hill.
So the Formula Continental race just finishing the first 3 laps here as the battles are beginning to shape.
Here he is going down the back straight into turn 4, hard on the brakes, going from 4th gear to 2nd, a real quick corner. One of those corners you always think, I could have gone faster, down to 1st on the concrete patch. They've regrouped them. That's why the speeds are quicker this year. Up the gas, down to 1st again. And here we go. This is going to be flat out. You go 1st gear, 2nd gear, and then through madness.
And let's listen to the sounds of speed. Remember, when you're riding on board, look way up the racetrack, right, Mike?
Yeah, absolutely, especially in these cars, because whatever's in front of you, you're going to be in it real quick.
Lessig continuing to roll as he hail as we look at another car off the track. And there's Forer off the racetrack, the number 84, Steve Forer, who we spoke about at the beginning of this one, a 2-time Formula Atlantic national champion, will not add a Formula Continental title to his credentials. He does get the car refired and moving again.
Yeah, that looks like turn 1. No, in the keyhole. Oh, he's around the outside. He's probably going to get tapped right here. Boom, yep. That's that open wheel I was talking about earlier. The open wheel, you try to slide yourself into that turn, and you feel like you're there. In fact, when you're driving, you feel like you can go out and touch the guy next to you. But if those wheels come together front to back, flip them over, and these are very light suspensions, and that's just going to probably just broke.
Take a look at the 13 car. Looks like an average race car. Nice looking scallops. But look closely at the side pods. There are dozens of signatures from people all over. People who've made donations to the Making Strides program. It's a breast cancer awareness program that driver Doug Niffen decided he wanted to help sponsor and support. What gave you the idea to help in this way?
Well, my mother was touched by the disease and is, what they call a survivor, and we were doing a program where the breast cancer people were trying to raise funds for their program. And so we decided we wanted to put more of an effort in, and so we put my family to work, calling people we know, and got the donations, and we're letting them ride into the record books with us.
And so far, they've raised more than $6,000.
Well, in a sport where spending money is usually the order of the day, it's nice to know that raising money is a part of the issue as well. As we take a look at Niffen there, the number 13 car, just behind the 88 of Tim Miner out of Falls Church, Virginia. And these two are having their own nice little race, racing into the record books. We're not sure how high up the standings they're going to climb, but they're having some fun, no doubt about that.
Absolutely, everyone. I mean, this class is they're such fun cars to drive. They're so quick, they're so nimble. They do everything a race car is designed to do. They're quick, They're fast, they brake well. These cars are carrying maybe 2.4, 2.5 Gs through some of the high-speed corners.
The start of the race, and this is a recap for those of you just joining us, involved the front row. The two that were up there were Brian Tomasi and Chaz Schaefer. Tomasi came out of turn number 4 with the lead. We had a caution on the very first lap of the race before it even started for this very same race car, the number 93 Browning Williams, who eventually rolled to a halt on the start-finish line. Then a much more serious incident that didn't really involve a whole lot of injury other than to the Pride and to the sheet metal of 4. And then the 16 and the 14 cars got together. William Jordan and Russell Lindemann, both of whom were eventually out of the race. The first of them was Bill Jordan, whose car you're looking at right here. Lindemann eventually retired in this incident all by himself. Obviously, the left front suspension on his car was broken, and it took a while to evidence it laps with the traffic. And here they are. You can see Tomasi started from the pole and honors the Triple Crown with a flag-to-flag victory here over Weizenhoff, Depper, Silver, and Chaz Schaefer, who finished 5th. Doug Kniffen doing the job for breast cancer there, finishing in 6th spot. Tim Miner rounding out the top 10 after he had a nice battle going there that involved various drivers along the way. Bilardi, Fatter, and Coelho, they had a good little tussle going as well. These guys are all going to have to be very proud of their finishes here at the SCCA Championship Runoffs in Formula.
I'm with Doug Kniffen. His mother was here watching from the hill. She was able to see you run from 8th to bring it up to 6th. Great race, and great race for your mother, a breast cancer survivor.
Yeah, it was a great event, and we raised a lot of money for breast cancer research in the Making Strides program, and I was just so happy to do it with my mom here to see it.
Let's talk a little bit about the race. That was a tough one.
It was a tough one. You know, the start's always real rough. A lot of 2x2 going through a tough section of course, and then it filed out, and we were just killing each other for the whole race, and it was a lot of fun and worked out well.
Well, congratulations, Doug. Great finish for you, and thank you for doing what you did to raise money for breast cancer research. Back to you guys.
All right, well, we had a pretty interesting start. Even before the race started, a stalled car that eventually rode off the course, David Stevens. Then we did get a green flag start, and that's when the fun began, Mike Johnson. It really had some interesting images.
Yeah, pretty good race. You know, neat to see those Hoosier tires in a lot of races we've seen this weekend seem to come on very strong right at the beginning. You know, the Goodyear's they're a great tire, but they don't have those first 2 laps.
So as the checkered flag flew and Tony Tomasi celebrated the win by his son Brian and the Triple Crown as well, we congratulate him too. For John Bizignano and Sandy Hang and Mike Johnson, I'm Brian Drebber, thanking you for joining us most of all.